The deafening roar of fighter jets tore through the skies above Gaza. It was a day that would forever be etched in the memories of its inhabitants, a day of unimaginable horror and loss. Israeli airstrikes rained down upon the densely populated strip, targeting what Israel claimed were Hamas military infrastructures. The reality on the ground painted a different picture. Homes were reduced to rubble. Hospitals, struggling to cope with the influx of casualties, were overwhelmed. The streets of Gaza, usually bustling with life, were transformed into scenes of chaos and despair. The air was thick with the smell of smoke, and the cries of mourners filled the air. Ambulances, their sirens wailing, raced through the debris-strewn streets, ferrying the injured and the dead. The death toll mounted with each passing hour, a grim testament to the ferocity of the assault. Among the victims were women, children, the elderly, innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. The strikes, one of the deadliest in recent years, came at a particularly poignant time for the Palestinians. It was the eve of the 76th anniversary of the Nakba, the catastrophe, when hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were displaced from their homes during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The timing only served to deepen the sense of grief and outrage among the Palestinians, many of whom saw the latest attacks as a continuation of the Nakba, a stark reminder of their dispossession and suffering. The world watched in horror, but for the people of Gaza it was a nightmare they were living. The Nakba is not just a historical event for Palestinians, it is a living memory, a wound that refuses to heal. It represents the loss of their homeland, their displacement, and their struggle for recognition and return. Every year on May 15th, Palestinians commemorate the Nakba, remembering those who were lost and reaffirming their right of return to their ancestral lands. It is a day of mourning, but also a day of resistance, a testament to their enduring spirit and their refusal to be forgotten. This year the commemorations were overshadowed by the fresh wave of violence. The sounds of mourning were replaced by the wails of sirens. The scent of incense was overpowered by the acrid smell of explosives. The juxtaposition of the annual remembrance with the brutal reality of the present conflict served as a stark reminder of the Palestinians' ongoing struggle for self-determination and a peaceful existence. The Nakba is a deeply personal and collective trauma for Palestinians. It is a story passed down through generations, a reminder of their dispossession and the ongoing struggle for their rights. For many, the current situation in Gaza, with its escalating violence and humanitarian crisis, feels like a continuation of the Nakba, a second displacement. The echoes of the past resonate deeply with the present, fueling a sense of despair and anger. The Israeli airstrikes have exacerbated an already dire humanitarian situation in Gaza. The Strip, home to over 2 million Palestinians, has been under a crippling blockade for over a decade, its economy in ruins and its infrastructure on the verge of collapse. The latest violence has pushed Gaza to the brink of a humanitarian catastrophe. Hospitals, already stretched thin due to years of underfunding and shortages, are struggling to cope with the influx of casualties. Medical supplies are running dangerously low, and the lack of essential equipment and qualified personnel is hampering efforts to treat the wounded. The constant threat of airstrikes has created a climate of fear and uncertainty, forcing many residents to seek refuge in shelters or huddle in their homes, too afraid to venture out even for basic necessities. The fuel shortage, a chronic problem in Gaza, has reached crisis levels. The power plant, Gaza's primary source of electricity, has been forced to shut down, plunging the Strip into darkness for most of the day. This has had a devastating impact on essential services, including water sanitation, healthcare, and sewage treatment. The lack of clean water and proper sanitation raises the specter of disease outbreaks, posing a serious threat to public health. The people of Gaza are trapped in a cycle of suffering, their lives held hostage to a conflict that seems to have no end.